Good morning, everyone. So how are you all? All good? How is Bangalore? Good? Gold? Cold? ನೆಗಡಿ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ? ನೆಗಡಿ ಚಳಿ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಹಾಂ? What is pretty? Right. So you had orientation, right? The very first class. By whom? Pradeep sir. So what did you discuss? Can anyone summarize? Just like 3-4 important takeaways. What is OGP? Very good. Then what?
What can we expect with this?
So what you can expect from insights and OGP? Okay, good. Objectives of insights. Okay. Any one objective if you can speak? Okay, good. Then? So you will have weekly tests. Okay, very good. So everybody is going to have weekly prelims and weekly
Monthly test.
mains test and as well as monthly test. Apart from that?
FAQs like normal.
Yeah, every day you will have not FAQs, MCQs.
No, FAQs also we discussed.
Acha.
Normal aspect.
Acha, he discussed FAQs. Okay, frequently asked questions. So you people asked him questions? Did you ask? Okay. Then, so apart from about insights and other things, what else you took away from the session? Like about your role. So our role is only 1%, right? Are you aware of this? So our role is only 1%. It doesn't matter how many classes we are going to take, how much materials we are going to give. So our role is limited to 1%. The success depends on your efforts. So what about you? ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಾ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ? Definitely would have spoken about it. Ideal routine on day-to-day basis what you need to follow, right? ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಗೆ ಏನೇನು ಓದಬೇಕು? ಈ ಚಳಿಲಿ ಏನೇನು ಓದಬೇಕು? ಗುಡ್. ದೆನ್ ರಿವೈಸಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್. ಗುಡ್. ಅಲ್ಲ ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ರಿಪೀಟ್ ದೆಮ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೈ. ಸೊ ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ there is no point in repeating the same things. ಮತ್ತೆ so how long was the session? How you should choose your optional? Very good. Importance of handwriting. Very good. That's an excellent point actually. Yes, about NCERT. What is the full form of NCERT? Education. Very good. So you have done your homework, right? And most of you might have read NCERT books in your school days. Good. So any other points? Timetable. So the daily routine. So what should be ideal timetable every day? Current affairs. How to follow? Where to follow? Which newspapers to follow or what? Yeah. So current affairs. Good. So I have one question for all of you, right? So how many of you started reading newspaper after coming to Bangalore or after finishing your graduation? ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ there is nothing to be shy about it. So rest of you started from standard 1, 5th standard during graduation. So how many of you are reading newspaper during graduation? Good. Before graduation? ಯಾವ ಪೇಪರ್? ಗೊತ್ತಿತ್ತು ನನಗೆ. I knew. Yeah, so before graduation, anybody who started reading the Hindu? Anyone? Any English newspaper? Which? Deccan Herald. Very good. Another hand. The Hindu. Since when are you reading the Hindu? 8th standard. Very good. You are from? Which place? Ballari, very good. Yav school? Huh? Which one? Best. ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? Best school, very good. Nice. Like they were asking you to read the Hindu, or did you pick up on your own? So, acha, it was a hostel residential facility. So they were giving the Hindu newspaper. Good. Good. So this is one problem with UPSC preparation that I have noticed. So many people, when they come for admission, when I do counseling, when I meet, so I ask this question: since when are you reading newspapers, right? So many people say that I have to start now. One of the reasons they don't know how to read the Hindu. Some people say that they never thought about it, right? It never occurred to them. There is news happening around the world, beyond their intimate circles, like beyond your life. They never thought about it, maybe except for now and then some WhatsApp messages, maybe Twitter news, and they had this dream of becoming IAS officer since childhood. Like some of you are here like that. Since childhood or since college days, you wanted to become IAS officers, but for some reason not told, or you didn't realize that you had to start reading newspapers, right? So I will begin with the newspaper. So why you should take it really very seriously, right? And why you should do it consistently. So number one reason, the Hindu, or even for that matter Deccan Herald, or the Indian Express, the Delhi version, right? So you have to start religiously reading them, one or two papers in any combination, right? Preferably hard copy. The reason is the way the examination is evolving, right? So it is not anymore dependent on any kind of rote learning. It is not predictable in terms of questions in prelims, in terms of questions in mains, right? In terms of questions in interview as well. So what it is basically testing is your depth of understanding, right? So there is a difference between knowing and understanding, right? And when I say depth of understanding, the understanding involves knowing in and out of that particular subject from every possible dimension, right? So then only you will be in a position to answer any question on that topic from any dimension in all three stages of the examination, right? So when you go in a very predictable pattern of reading only one current affairs material of any website, right, or just depending on any ready-made material or YouTube videos, everybody is doing that. So you don't realize that most of the competition has this herd mentality. What is herd mentality? So trying to follow a similar pattern, right, en masse. So majority of the people try to follow one formula or one trick or one roadmap. So when you try to do that, when you do that, you don't have any chances in this examination. You don't stand any chance of cracking, especially UPSC civil services examination, right? You have to distinguish yourself as more original, right? You have to develop your own individuality. See this examination as one unit, right? Not in parts like prelims, mains, interview separately. So as somebody who have guided literally thousands of students even during the interview stage by conducting hundreds of mock interviews, I know that there is a thread binding all three stages of the examination. The way you do well, prelims, mains, determines your success in interview as well. So there is a correlation between people who have scored highest marks in mains nowadays and people who are going to score good marks in interview as well. Not totally, right? Personality involves other factors, the confidence, clarity in the way you speak, the way you think, right? Ability to put even big ideas in very few words, precise manner. So everyone will not have. They may have knowledge of the content, which they can express very well through written words, but may not be through orally, right? But largely I see that those who possess a depth of understanding can answer interview questions really well. So when you start your preparation from this day onwards, you have to constantly remember interview process as well, right? You have to keep imagining, because if not next year, if not another year, someday you are going to reach that stage, right? Someday you are going to reach that stage. So when you reach that stage, your target should be 200 plus marks out of 275 in interview, right? So this year 210 was the highest marks in interview. So it was, so I tweeted about it. There were around 6 northeastern students who got 210 marks, right? And few other have scored, I think around 10 or 12 people have scored only the highest 210, and very few people have scored 200 plus this year and last year. Earlier it used to be huge numbers. So to be in that position, only if you are in that position in the bracket of 190 to 210, your dream of IAS is fulfilled, right? Otherwise you will end up with other services, maybe IPS, maybe IRS, income tax, customs, right? How many services are there? I have seen. So around 23 services, 2 all India services, remaining central services. So every CSR IPS maximum, right? So very few people want maybe IRS or other central services. So most of you are always dreaming about IAS. So for that the journey starts from today, and eventually when you go to write prelims, what is going to be your target in preliminary examination? In paper 1, how much you need to score? How much? Marks. Out of 200, what should be your marks in prelims paper 1? How much? I am not asking about CSAT. I am asking about general studies paper. 80 plus, 100 plus, good. So 88 point something, 88.5 was the cutoff last year, right? Last year means 22 prelims. So for 23 prelims, I am predicting somewhere around 82 or 83. So somewhere around 82 is going to be the cutoff marks, right? So earlier it was around 95, before that it was around 100, before that it was even under 108 also, right? Gradually since 2019 we are seeing that steep decline in cutoff in paper 1, right? What could be the reason? Paper is getting tough, okay. So one answer is paper is getting very difficult. Then why the cutoff should decrease when the competition is increasing? Number of people who are applying for this examination, it is increasing. 11 lakh 79,000 people wrote prelims, I think, in 22. So in 23 it is definitely slightly applied. Those who applied for prelims, not those who wrote. Somewhere around 50% of the people who apply write this examination, right? So this year it is going to be slightly higher than previous year. But what we are seeing on the other hand is that the cutoff is decreasing. So one reason you said the paper is getting difficult, right? But what is the definition of difficult? Focusing on, so people are focusing on mains exam instead of prelims. Now that is the point, or what do you want to say? No, that could be the reason. I mean, I have seen people till December they want to do only mains, right? So after finishing coaching, what they say is that till December I will do mains, notes making, mains test series, and from January onwards I will write or I will practice for prelims. That is definitely one of the reasons. But what about the definition of difficult paper? In what way prelims paper is difficult? It is getting unpredictable. Questions are getting more dynamic. Very good. Out of syllabus. Huh? Changing of pattern. Okay. Correct. The more than pattern, the question format. The format of the question is changing, is becoming unpredictable. So what was out of syllabus? Is there a syllabus to ask something out of syllabus? So what do you think about this? Is there a specific syllabus? They are just given geography of world and India. Now where is the syllabus? Like which syllabus you are going to follow for this? Current affairs of national and international importance, right? So for that there is no syllabus. Under current affairs you have to study only this and that, and so there is no prescribed clearly, what, lineated, there is no such kind of syllabus. So what could be the other reason that this paper is labeled as difficult? Very good, more diverse. So I am looking for one more word. Again, it is related to depth of both your knowledge and understanding, right? So this year what we saw is that you cannot randomly eliminate options, right? You cannot eliminate options. You have to for sure know the option, right? So for that I have coined a phrase, certainty of knowledge, right? Certainty of knowledge. So any knowledge that you are going to possess in this journey, maybe through newspapers, maybe through classroom, textbooks, NCERT, you have to be certain about it. You have to know it, you have to understand it. So only by understanding you will know it, right, and you will remember it. So for that what you need to do from henceforth is that, so I don't know like where you all coming from, right, I don't know which college, which district, which place, right, what was your academic performance during your graduation days. I am not worried about it and I don't want to know about it. From today onwards everything you are going to do is totally new, right. So in only one way so far your life has bearing on your preparation, that is how well you participated or how well you got exposed to outside world, like extracurriculars, right, or how well you were disciplined during the academic. So that will have certain impact on the preparation, because consistency is very difficult. To maintain consistency is very difficult. So I asked one question when some people came for admission, in my cabin, that why this examination, parents were asking why this examination is labeled as difficult, why students don't continuously prepare, so why they lose motivation, right. So I found an answer for that. The reason is that when you come with a big dream to Bangalore, or some people when they go to Delhi, they are in a way unaware of what is coming in their way. You are unaware, like you till coming here, you have a dream, you want to become IAS, and you are mentally prepared that I will do everything to crack this examination, I will do everything that takes to crack this examination. So I have found an institution or a mentor who can guide us. Now one thing you are unaware is that your mind and body is not prepared for one thing right now, that is, so far from standard 1 or some of you nursery to your graduation days, anyone sitting in this classroom, maybe there may be an exception, I am not sure, you can raise your hand, nobody has studied straight 8 hours in a day. during college days, maybe exceptions may be there depending on the institutions. Have you ever in your life sat for 8 hours or 10 hours or 12 hours and studied for any examination? Anyone? You, which exam? No, what I am asking is every day. Every day. Very good. Then what about you? Not every day. Anyone? Daily kutkonbutto? At least 6 hours? During examination, I know you people have done that. So during examination, ನೀನು ಮಾಡಿದಿತ್ತಾನೆ? ಇಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿರ್ಬೋದು. I might have done, he is saying, right? So that is a mind and body problem I am talking about. The body in physical sense hasn't done that. The mind, which is actually going to take the toll from today onwards, right, is not prepared. So what you people will do? Suddenly you want to do it suddenly, right? From today itself you want to do, from tomorrow itself you want to do that. That is not possible, right? Any development, any progress, right, should always be gradual, incremental, right? Should be incremental, it should be gradual. So my request is that 2024, of course you want to do it, you want to crack it, you can do it, right? But my suggestion is that depending on where you come from, like for example she said she has done that. I totally 100% recommend 2024 aim for top 10 rank, because your mind and body is prepared for that, right? So you can maintain the consistency. So depending on how much you are giving time for your examinations, or some people might have given beyond examinations, with reading habit and other extracurricular activities. Let us count that also as part of learning. You might have given certain time for reading novels, fiction, right, indulging in extracurricular interests and hobbies. So depending on that you have to plan ahead. So 3 hours of class, right, maybe after that 3-4 hours of intense preparation. The remaining time which you have, that is up to you, right? Up to you in the sense that you can start pursuing interest. Like for example, my suggestion, don't include newspaper reading as part of the preparation in these 3 hours, 4 hours. It should be purely your passion. It should be your interest. Reading newspaper should be your passion. What is the definition of passion? When somebody says I am passionately doing something, what do they mean? Yes? It's a desire, it's a deep rooted interest within them. So nobody is forcing them, right? So they are voluntarily doing it, nobody is asking, it doesn't create any stress. Like if you are an artist who is fond of painting, or if you are an artist who is fond of singing, so you do it endlessly without looking at the time, watch. So you keep on doing it because you are passionate about it, interested about it. So my single most important suggestion is that when you read newspapers, pursue it as passion, right? So that passion might include notes making, underlining, cutting the newspapers, right, or writing answers. We have some initiative called as Secure Initiative. Every day on newspaper articles, especially editorials, we post questions, on them writing answers. Later you can start doing it, right? But it should be purely as passion, because especially the deeper you learn from newspapers, right, your essays are going to be better. And include Sunday's magazine. The Hindu has a supplementary called as magazine every Sunday. 99% the aspirants don't read it. Sunday is holiday, right? For current affairs, so don't. Battery down again. So we also don't post current affairs on Sunday, but that doesn't mean that is for our rest, right? But doesn't mean that you don't read it. So Sunday magazine is the most important source for your essay content, right? Everyone will be made to write essays eventually, and Sunday magazine you should start reading. So if you start reading now, by the time you write means you would have read 52 editions of the Sunday magazines, or more than 52, right? So that will have huge number of book reviews, the Sunday magazine, and it will have huge number of articles written on philosophy, art and culture, the so-called philosophical topics, right? So it has it is a very good source and it has very good content. So from now onwards, like day after tomorrow you have Sunday, definitely read it. And when I ask you to read everyday newspaper passionately, my suggestion is that try to make your own notes from current affairs, right? Keep a separate notebook, but notes, so what are you going to write? Because all of you are new to current affairs, you will have the tendency to write each and everything that is there in the newspaper. So don't try to do that, right? The factual part we post it two ways on our website, one daily current affairs and another one is quiz. So don't write factual content from the newspaper. Any new idea, right, any argument, any perspective, do you understand this, right? In editorial somebody is trying to convey certain ideas, certain arguments, right? So only those kind of stuff you need to write down, because anything that enhances your thinking ability, right? Anything that makes you think analytically or critical thinking. So anything that stimulates thinking. Fact doesn't stimulate the way an idea does, right? Fact can also stimulate. If I say that, in India every day, let us say that, like just random number, like 10,000 people are killed because of certain type of discrimination or atrocity, right? It's a random fact. 10,000 people are killed, so it has both fact and both an argument, right? So but 10,000 will force you to think. The number 10,000 will force you to think, start imagining, okay, in Kashmir something happened, in Northeast something is happening, in some parts of Karnataka something may be happening. So any discrimination, atrocity can be within homes, which is invisible, on the streets, somewhere, even in Delhi we are seeing this, right? So the fact anyway you will end up remembering. What is more important is idea. Now if I ask the question why such incidents are happening or increasing, if I ask you to reason out, if I ask you the question why, right? So you should have an answer. The fact will not give that answer, right? So what will give you that answer? Your own thinking ability plus knowing the issue itself, the depth of understanding of that particular issue, right? So that is the reason, the more you are passionate, the more deeply you start reading these, and eventually you will end up in a position where in interview you can give to the point, right? So more thoughtful answers rather than, in this competition what I observed is that, so when people cannot think, they give the obvious answers, right? So they do the obvious thing. Did you get this point? All of you, did you get this? This is very important. So what they do is the obvious. What is obvious? General, common, what everyone is doing, what everyone knows, right? It can be a quote, it can be a name of a book, it can be name of a personality, it can be a story. Like Anguli Mala's story everybody knows, right? So you know the story that Gandhi was thrown out of a train, right? All of you know it, right? And you may be knowing the story of two parrots. One parrot ends up in a hand of a good saint and another with the thief. So the reason I am mentioning is this, that I see in people's answers and essays obvious things, right? When everybody writes the obvious thing in their answers and essays, it is very difficult to assess them, right? Whom to give more marks? Anybody who shows the qualities I have been mentioning, the depth of understanding, right? Objectivity, critical thinking, right? Knowing the in and out, including the facts. So it can be current affairs and it can be your GS subject as well. So I will come to that. So current affairs pursue with passion. For some of you it can take 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours in the beginning, right? So don't worry and stop doing it because it is affecting your GS preparation or optional preparation. So this one mistake I have seen people doing it, in the beginning it happens, it can be 2 hours, 3 hours to complete the newspaper. Because you are doing it for the first time, obviously it is going to take more time. So don't get panicked about it, right? Continue doing it. Maybe after 3-4 months, within 1 hour or 2 hours, you will be able to complete entire current affairs. You will be able to manage time. Now if you resort to shortcuts of YouTube videos or any prepared current affairs, right? So what you are doing is only trying to consume the superficial knowledge component without any depth. Got it? So again, when you read current affairs, every current affair background. So it can be rooted in history, it can be rooted in sociology or society or polity. So every current affairs. So that is where your syllabus is designed in such a way that knowing the syllabus in depth will help you apply what is there in the syllabus in your answers and link them with the current affairs. So these two parts are very much complementary. Every event like atrocity I talked about, there is social and both political and economic angle to it. Well, you will go on figuring it out, right? Firstly the social angle, any atrocity, any discrimination, and it will also have historical angle. So separately you will learn. In history you will learn that why we started having caste system, and then why we started having caste discrimination, why we started having patriarchy, in historical sense. So when you read Indian society, there also you are going to trace out origin of these kind of discriminations through the lens of history as well, and then there will be political angle also, right? So various administrations being discriminative, right, they might have encouraged such kind of policy, whatever it is. So the point here is that once you start reading current affairs passionately, the same passion you have to show in the classroom as well, right? And what is passion? I earlier asked. The passion is always fueled by curiosity, right? So only when you have curiosity, then only you can be passionate about something. So this is another missing component in UPSC preparation, curiosity. So earlier people would say that when somebody is curious and trying to learn more, so they would say he is doing research, right? They are right. You should not do research. There is a end, there is a limit to what extent you can be curious in this examination, and how will you know that end? So what is the boundary, like till what extent about a topic you can be curious? Very good. So that is obvious answer, right? But it's a good answer. Previous year, both prelims and mains question papers. So at least 28 years of prelims question papers plus 2013 onwards mains question papers. Anybody sitting in this classroom who masters these two things, right? You have done 50% of your preparation for the examination, right? When I say mastering, it is not a work of 1 month or 2 months, right? 28 years of questions means 2,800 different questions belonging to all types of topics, right? So you have to dig deeper all those questions. So every question will have 2 options, 3 options, 4 options. In some recent questions there have been 7 options also under one objective question in prelims. So every option can be a new topic for you, a new fact for you, right? So if you go on digging it out of curiosity, you should spend more time on them, right? And the mains topics will determine the depth, right? For example, there may be, let us say, 30-40 questions on Quit India movement in prelims in last 28 years, and there may be 4 or 5 questions in mains regarding Quit India movement. So when you combine these two, 30 from prelims, maybe around 4 or 5 from mains, you will get both the diversity, right, the extent, the breadth, as well as the to what extent, to what depth the question was asked in the mains. So both factual and the analytical component or the opinion component, right, the idea component that is asked in mains, you will get an idea about that particular topic. So all these topics which have figured, which have come in prelims or mains in previous year, are the most important topics that you must master, right? So show passion in mastering those topics. So this is one intelligent, smart way to limit your topics. So you may have, economy book written by any author. That doesn't mean that you should read end to end the book 3 or 4 times, right? You should know your concepts, but don't go with the university mindset of reading entire book into end year, right? For some books you may have to do, like history, which book? Spectrum. Any other history books you have come across? Bipin Chandra. So my suggestion is Bipin Chandra, right? So spectrum is very bulky. So earlier, whatever size it is right now, no, it used to be its half when we were preparing, right? So when I was preparing means during 2006, 2010. So in 13 years, history has doubled, the modern history. You know the reason? Because some stray questions started coming in prelims, they started doing research and started adding that content to this book. So every year it is going on increasing. So UPSC keeps referring to standard sources, and these people, when no question comes from their book, right, and then they add more content, and you people start preparing and you will not know that whether that content was there in the previous edition or new edition, and you will all think that okay, the question has straight away come from this book. So it is not like that, right? So how many of you are really passionate about becoming IAS here? Okay, ಇನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದಾರಲ್ಲ IRS, ನೀವು ಬ್ರಾಕ ಕೈ ಎತ್ತಲಿಲ್ಲ. IPS anyone? Good, all boys. Indian Foreign Service? Good. Again all boys. All girls, you want to be in IAS only. ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಬೇಡವಾ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಫಾರಿನ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್? IPS? ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಚಾಯ್ಸ್. ಎರಡು ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಯಾರು ತಗೊಂತೀರಾ? See, when you are preparing for this examination, this passion to top, a passion to crack this examination should be so strong, right? Any negative word from anyone, right? Any negative incident at any point of your life, any negative circumstance, external or internal, right, should not shake you. And that passion is the source of all other passions. If that passion is weak to what you want to become, you will not be passionate about current affairs, you will not be passionate about the classes also. Everything you will do only for the sake of doing it. So you see, this is the way everyone is doing, I have to do it, so I will do it, right? There is a huge difference. When you are really passionate about something, you will travel extra mile, you will go to any extent to ensure that what you want to achieve is achieved, right? You will go to any extent. Suddenly I remembered, because when I say to any extent, so I see very people showing that passion in this journey. So for example, very few people ask questions in the class, the very basic thing. Very few people answer the question. They know the answer, they have that answer within them, but for some reason, fear of being judged, fear of giving wrong answer, you don't do that. These are small things in the classroom, or maybe noting down everything that is told in the class, lest you forget later, right? And these are small things outside the classroom, following what is being told in the classroom. And very few people come and meet their mentors. Very few people come and meet their teachers outside the class, very few. So you will be shocked that out of 100, it is only 4 to 5 people who does it. So out of 100 people, only 4 to 5 people who does it consistently, right? So that is why I don't see it as a burden, taking more number of students. And in every orientation, if somebody had watched my video by chance, I keep raising this point, right? So why, despite having dream of becoming IAS or IPS, cracking this mother of all examinations, you don't do certain things that are fundamental to cracking this examination, right? So that is why it starts from the passion, like deep rooted desire. So from there, all your willpower, determination, everything comes from. So you should read endlessly, you should never look at the time, whether it is in the class, when you are focused on learning, right? So to crack this examination, everything starts from learning, right? So have the mindset of a learner. Every occasion, every instance, from everyone, right? So having the mindset of learner is very important, because it won't make you tired of something, right? You always want to learn from every source, so that time doesn't matter, because you know that you don't know something, right? So when you know that you lack something, you don't know something, you are weak in something, there are loopholes in your preparation, you should always be passionate to plug them from whichever source possible. And once you complete polity or economy, never think that you know everything about these subjects. There is no end to learning, but as I told, there is a limit, there is a framework, there is a boundary in your previous year questions plus NCERT topics. So earlier I said geography of India and world. Any topic that is there in NCERT from class 6 to 12th is the exhaustive list of topics. Within them, what is more important is in previous year questions, right? So another source of what is important is anything that comes in the current affairs related to Indian and world geography. Example, right? So that year or previous year, that might not have been asked in the previous year questions, may not be there in NCERT, but if it suddenly comes in the news, right? For example, scientists might discover a total new phenomenon, right? Maybe in space or in atmosphere or in ocean or something, and they name it with a total new name. It's a concept, right? So that also you should know it. For that, like websites like National Geographic channel, all of you watched, right? So there is a website, there is a NASA website, right? And there is a magazine, Down to Earth. So these three things, it is out of interest, not entirely, right? So just out of curiosity, out of interest, you will be now and then seeing them. So it applies to all the subjects like economy, for example. So you should frequently visit the website of RBI, Reserve Bank of India, to see their reports, to see any expert article written by any economist, right? Once your economy is done. So similarly, for security issues, there is a website called ICD. What is that? Now it is called as Manohar Parrikar Institution of Defence Studies. Earlier it was Institution for Defence Analysis, something like that. Manohar Parrikar Institution for Defence Analysis. So there is a website, so where they keep posting anything, for example, Manipur related violence, right? So you will find a very good content like analysis from every dimension. So these are the extra sources. If I go back to my original point of developing originality and individuality, right? So these extra sources will help you gain more deeper understanding and help you develop your own thinking, right? Something away from the herd. So entire preparation, it comes down to this extra effort that you are going to put outside the classroom, right? Anybody who is willing to put this extra effort and do it consistently, you will have highest chances of cracking this examination. And it is very saddening, like especially we are getting so many students from Karnataka, the way our education system has ruined you. Only the best school has encouraged him to read the Hindu. Anybody from Navodaya school here? Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya? ನೀವು ಓದ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ವ ಪೇಪರು? ಹಾಂ, ಬರ್ತಿತ್ತು ತಾನೇ ಪೇಪರಲ್ಲಿ? ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಟೀಚರ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರಲಿಲ್ವಾ? So I had in our Navodaya school, his name was Tommy Joseph, he was from Kerala. So in class 6th, he started telling us that you should read the Hindu newspaper. And what he would do two things every day. Maybe he was an aspirant or he was passionate about current affairs, I don't know. As soon as the class was about to start, he would come and switch on the BBC radio, British Broadcasting Corporation, BBC, listen to international news. So he was doing that not for the current affairs, he was doing it because 75% of us were Kannada medium in the class. He wanted us to listen to English news, and then he would briefly, just like 5 minutes, he would just explain. Second, he would read the Hindu loudly, any one article in the class, and then he would ask us to go back and read news. There used to be a newspaper stand. So I am from Navodaya school. In Navodaya school, I am sure most of the schools will have library and will have these papers, right? It is just that somebody in your school, maybe in your home, never took it seriously to motivate you, to encourage you to read, because the most of your attention was towards passing the exams, scoring 99%, 100%. I am sure all of you are first rank students in school days, majority of you. Gradually declined in your PU days, +1, +2, college days. For most of the boys, declines in the college days. Yes or no? ಹೌದಾ? ನಿಮಗೆ what? Just pass. throughout life. Good. Anyone who is with gold medal and all these university top ranks? Pro ಇಲ್ಲ ಯಾವುದು? BC and MCA university topper. Good. Topper? Gold. ಇಂಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರಲಿಲ್ವಾ? ಎಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಗುಡ್. ಐ ನೋ ಯುವರ್ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಮೆಡಲ್. ವಿಚ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್? NIE. ಓಕೆ ಗುಡ್. ಯಾವ ಬ್ರ್ಯಾಂಚು? ಸಿವಿಲ್ಲಾ? ಗುಡ್. ನೋಡಿ NIE ಯಾರೋ ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಅವ್ರೆ ಅಂತ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಾಲೇಜಪ್ಪ, ಮಾತಾಡ್ಸ ಆಮೇಲೆ. ನೀನು ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಓದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಪಾಸಾ? ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾರು ಇಲ್ವಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಟಾಪರ್ಸ್? ಯಾವ ಕಾಲೇಜು? BLD ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್. ಬೇರೆ ಬಿಜಾಪುರ. ಗುಡ್. ಯಾವ ಬ್ರ್ಯಾಂಚ್? ಸಿವಿಲ್. ಗುಡ್. ಸಿಡನ್. ಸಿವಿಲ್ನವ್ರು ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? ಗುಡ್. ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ನು. ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಜಾಬ್ಸ್, unfortunately private you don't have much options, right? And unless you might have got ಎಲ್ಲಿ L&T, ಅದೇ L&T, ಪ್ರೆಸ್ಟೀಜು, ಬ್ರಿಗೇಡು, ದೊಡ್ಡ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಬಿಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಅಂಥ ಕಡೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕರೆ ಜಾಬ್. ಅದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಬಂದಿತ್ತು ಸಂಬಳ? ಎಷ್ಟು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ? 40. ಸೊ ಅರೌಂಡ್ 5 lakh per annum. ಯಾರಿಗಾದರೂ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? ಓ ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್. ಎಲ್ಲಾಗಿತ್ತಪ್ಪ? ಟಾಟಾ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜೀಸ್. ಗುಡ್. ಯಾವ ಕಾಲೇಜ್? BITನಾ? ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಸೈನ್ಸಾ? ಓಕೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾರೋ ಕೈ ಎತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ? ಎಲ್ಲಾಗಿತ್ತು? ಓಕೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಯುವರ್ಸ್? ಮನಿ ಟ್ಯಾಪ್. ಮನಿ ಟ್ರ್ಯಾಪ್ ಆರ್ ಮನಿ ಟ್ಯಾಪ್? Okay. So it's about?
It gives credit line to its users at least credit line.
But that is being regulated, no? That is, I think they are going to.
Yeah, it's under RBI.
Yesterday Siddaramaiah made statement, no? CM yesterday, day before yesterday, they are going to ban all such kind of apps which are giving loans, which are gaming apps.
Because they are not compliant to RBI guidelines.
Yeah. So ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾರೋ ಕೈ ಎತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ? Where? Amazon. Good. Cognizant. Good. ನಿನ್ನಿಂದೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿಲ್ವಾ? ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೈ ಎತ್ತದೆ? ಟಾಟಾ ಹಿಟಾಚಿ ಮೆಕ್ಯಾನಿಕಲ್ಲಾ? ಸಿವಿಲ್. ಓಕೆ. ಕಾಗ್ನಿಸೆಂಟ್. ಗುಡ್. ಸೊ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮದು? ಬಾಷ್. ಗುಡ್. ಮೆಕ್ಯಾನಿಕಲ್, ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕಲ್. ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ಬಾಷಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕಲ್ಗೂ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮೆಕ್ಯಾನಿಕಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಗುಡ್. ಅಮೆಝಾನ್ ನಿಮ್ಮದು? ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನಿಕ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಆಯಿತು, ಯು ಡಿಂಟ್ ಜಾಯಿನ್?
I worked 2 years.
Oh, okay. Good. So others you got placed but you didn't join. You also worked for 2 years. Very good. So others, anybody who worked and left your job? Acha. Good. Tale bere kerkantiru. Ville, which company? The same, the one you mentioned. Cognizant, alla? Yes. Good. I was just randomly asking. Now what is happening is that, so my suggestion, being your mentor or teacher or your brother, right? So give maximum 2 to 3 years for preparation. Maximum 3 years, minimum 2 years. 2 years is required anyway. 1 year coaching and 1 year examination or self-study, right? If you want to give in 25, like it is going to be 3 years. So after that, compulsorily go back to job. I mean, if you don't crack it, go back to job or go back to higher education. Higher education that can further empower you, right? So target a very good institution. It can be IIM, It can be IIT, or it can be Harvard or Oxford or Cambridge, Princeton, MIT, whatever, outside India also, right? But these 3 years or 2 years should be so intense that you should be in a position to crack any other examination. It can be university entrance examination, and this National Law School has come up with a 3-year LLB course for graduates from any discipline. So after 2 years you can try that also if you are interested in law, or if you are interested in pursuing some good education from such a reputed institution. So I heard that most of the UPSC aspirants have got through the recent entrance exam, right? So in 3 years you don't know, like 3 years like goes like this. Most of the people come with a mission of 2 years, and it goes on to become 3 years, 4, 5, 6 years. So my concern is that this time you should be ready for plan B. In case it doesn't work out, there should be something better than this. Hear properly, right? There should be something better than this, not going down and joining something that doesn't match the knowledge that you have gained over the course of 2 to 3 years. So this is one mistake most of the people commit. So they gain huge amount of knowledge, but when they don't crack the examination for some reasons, again, so most of them don't crack because they don't figure out what is wrong in their preparation. It is not the doing part, execution part, it is knowing where it is going wrong. So that is where this mentorship and having a conversation with people who are experienced comes into picture. And knowing is one thing, knowing and accepting it. Like if I tell people your handwriting is very poor, right, it might cost you some marks, you have to accept it. There should not be absolutely second thought about it. You will start linking with school and college, there it didn't affect, right? So I still won gold medal, I still scored well. But what is UPSC examination? So in UPSC it is definitely a negative factor. In fact, in UPSC mark sheets you might find that there is penalty, right, imposed for such illegible writing, poor handwriting, or any writing that is not relevant to the question, right, or exceeding word limit. So people have got till minus 75 marks, right. So minus 75 is equal to 800 ranks. So it is out of the list. Even if you have topped in every paper, if there is penalty, so it is just an example I am giving. So knowing your mistakes, you won't know by yourself. Be aware that don't be in an echo chamber, right? Thinking that somebody is telling in the classroom and you just have to follow it. Sometimes you have to come and talk once in a week. That is why we have mentorship, that I am doing these things, is it in the right direction, what I am doing, is it correct, right? So that is the reason we have tests also. There are so many factors here. The reason why we have integrated the daily test, weekly test, monthly test, mentorship is to help you assess yourself, realize what are the mistakes you are doing, figure out and correct those mistakes. That personality, that kind of personality I see in very few people, where there are people who want to know their mistakes, and there are people who come to know their mistakes but they are not willing to accept. So if somebody accepts it, they are not willing to execute, do the course correction, right? So the next step, if somebody is doing this, they know the mistake, they correct it, and again you have to go and visit. It is not a one time affair, right? So that is where I said going extra mile. So it requires a personality which is lot dedicated for this examination. So sumne fees katti course join agi, right, classroom al kutkondo. Any non Kannadiga here? Yeah, one or two, fine. So for the sake of course, paying the fees, coming to the class, taking down notes, thinking that you have knowledge content about everything, reading repeatedly, right, won't get you rank. So I know people who can recite entire Lakshmikant. They read it 4 times, 5 times, sometimes 10 times. They want to remember each and every article, every nook and corner of the book. 8 out of 10 questions in Indian polity, they cannot get all of them right. They will get maybe 5, 6 right, still they commit mistakes. So what is the reason? So they know entire Indian polity, but they still can't answer all Indian polity questions. So what could be the reason? So they haven't understood the question. So approach to answering the question, okay, might be wrong. Then analysis of question.
They have the knowledge, but they are not able to apply the.
Very good. They have the knowledge, but they don't know how to apply it. Yes. So this is one problem, in plenty. You have the knowledge, but you don't know how to apply it. So when you don't know how to apply it, the problem you mentioned happens. You don't have an approach. The reason is that people come with the university mindset to this examination. University mindset, knowing things, writing examination in the end, right? Or once in 6 months, maybe you would have some internals once in 2 months, every month, I don't know, right? But not every day. So your preparation should be such that 60% in the beginning should be learning, knowing things, papers, classroom, wherever it is, textbooks. Another 40% should be applying it. If you are studying for 10 hours, right, 6 hours knowing, 4 hours applying. So applying in many ways. Mere thinking is also what you have known, just mere thinking about is also kind of applying the knowledge. But solving questions, everyday basis, voluntarily, right? So remember this particular point. Anybody who voluntarily, I talked about extra effort, right? Extra effort in knowing, similarly extra effort in terms of solving questions. So let us say to which class has started for you? Science and Tech. So do you know about this James Webb telescope? JWT. How many of you have heard about James Webb telescope? Hubble telescope? Hubble? Very good. The reason I asked this random question is it was a previous year mains question. So there was a mains question on James Webb telescope and comparison with previous telescopes. How technology in James Webb telescope is advanced compared to previous year telescopes. So your SNT teacher might teach it, right? So now when such kind of questions come in mains or in prelims, right, knowing theory will not help you crack or answer those questions. So you should know the history of it, you should know the history of technology, how the technology has evolved. It takes little extra effort in knowing. Secondly, you have to keep solving such questions on day-to-day basis, right? So you can pick previous SNT questions. So every day we post current affair questions. Within that there is a science and tech section in our monthly compilations. So if they are teaching something about telescope, my suggestion is that last 10 years mains any question related to that, plus previous year UPSC prelims question related to telescope, or anything from our current affair compilation. Anyone who does this extra effort, teacher will tell you, definitely all of our teachers will tell you, but very few people will go back and do this extra exercise. So you will understand the concept, you will make the notes, you will have proper content for it, but merely revising that content, knowing entire content will not help you improve your scores in any of our weekly test or in the real examination. Got it? Will you do this? ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಲ್ಕೊಂಬಿಟ್ರ ಏನು ಕತೆ? Are all of you listening? ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ ನಾನು? What was the last point I was talking about? Extra effort, like what was the ratio I gave? Last bench. 60? 90? 60-40? 60-40 ಏನು? Yes, tell me. 60%? So this 40% should have prelims component as well as mains component, your own thinking component, and one extra suggestion is that group discussion component, right? So that make a group of 3 people, maximum 3, not more than 3, right? But if you find another one like-minded, matching your frequency, okay, 4 also. But if it is possible to make a group of 3 to 4 individuals and just half an hour or 1 hour discussing these, what you have read, what you have heard in the class, right, the notes you have made. So from 4 different people you will get 4 different perspectives, extra content, and I believe anything that you know, when you think about it, when you talk about it, when you write about it, right, when you discuss, you will carry that knowledge for very, very long time, right. So these 3 components are missing in day-to-day preparation of most aspirants. So some people write weekly, at least you are lucky, every day we are going to make you write answers weekly. If you go to most institutions in Delhi, right, this never happens. So one question I ask when people come back from Delhi after teaching, how many essays you have written? Majority say 0. How many answers? Very, very few answers, right. So here at Insights IAS, Pradeep sir might have told you, you have an opportunity, right, to write answers, to solve questions, have access to thousands of questions, right. You will be given access to 2 extra prelim test series in addition to all weekly daily questions, and our website itself has, I don't know, now it might have reached lakhs of questions. I have been posting for last 10 years every day consistently, including all the test series questions, everything, right. So for example, so every year we do this 75-year plan, daily revision plan or something, right. So every day we post around 25 to 30 questions for 75 days straight, right. So during the, just before the prelims, so 75 into daily 30 questions, how many? Eಷ್ಟಾಯ್ತು? 2500 something, right. So that is in addition to daily 25 questions of current affairs, static quiz, right, and we have been posting 25 questions regularly for past, I think 7 years, every day, except Sundays, like 300 days in a year, right. So there itself you have, plenty of questions, and all of them are compiled and posted in PDF format on the website. So for practicing, you don't have dearth of questions, you have huge number of questions. So every day, whether you are waiting outside your mentor room, right, or while having coffee or tea, having lunch or dinner, So be indulged in this kind of some kind of intellectual discussion or intelligent discussion related to examination, in and out, like you have to be involved in this whole process. So that is when your will be totally focused. So any other discussion, right? So if somebody in your group or other group indulges in gossiping, discussing unwanted stuff, so try to avoid such people or just try to tell them you are not interested in that, right? So again, that is where your passion, anybody who has clear goal, passion will never do such kind of things. So they are very clear, their road is very clear. They have come with a mindset that no, this is my job, right? I have to execute, I have to get into my goal and then walk out from here. So the clarity of thought is very important, right? Any doubts so far? ಏನಿಲ್ವಾ, ಜಾಸ್ತಿನೇ ಆಗೋಯ್ತು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಹಂಗೂ ತುಂಬ ದಿನ ಆಯ್ತು ಮಾತಾಡಿ. ನೋ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್? ಅದು ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಪೋರ್ಟಲ್ ಅದು. ಸೊ there is one personal portal for you where we post quiz and all. There is one Insights IAS website. ಇದು ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ ಹಾಕೋ ಬಂತು. ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಬಂದಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಬಿಡು. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ if you go to free initiatives, right, so these are the quizzes every day. So this current affair quiz, static quiz, quid. What is quid? Questions from editorials. Okay, so every day the Hindu or any other editorial, from there we frame 5 multiple choice questions. Similarly static quiz. So for this we have given a timetable, like for example Mission 2024. Every year after prelims we give you 1 year timetable, Mission 2024. There we will mention that this week, for example August 4th we have this particular topic, and on that topic we keep asking questions. It keeps changing every week. This is for people who are referring only website from home as their source of exam preparation. And current affairs, right? And then current affairs RTM. RTM is revision through MCQs. So this current affairs, 5 questions on today's current affairs. RTM around 15 questions or 10 questions based on the previous 10 questions based on the yesterday's or previous days current affairs, right? And this is CSAT, and I was talking about 70 days earlier. So this is just before prelims. And the secure initiative, this is mains question. ಚಾಕ್ಲೇಟ್ ಬೇಕಾ ಅವರಿಗೆ? ಇನ್ನೊಂದು 10 ನಿಮಿಷ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕೊಡೋಣ. So here we have how to follow secure initiative, right? So how to self-evaluate your answer. This is for those who are preparing. So you have mentors here. So Mission 23, now we have put Mission 24. So this is part of that question, geography. The static question will be part of the timetable, right? So we will explain why this question and how to go about it. And some people post their answers, right? And we also review sometimes. See, so you will get to see throughout India how different people are writing, different types of answer. So majority toppers, right, follow this particular initiative. You know, Srishti Deshmukh, rank 5, she used to be a regular contributor on the secure initiative. So this question, see, this is from the Indian Express editorial. Cities must take lead on climate change rather than simply reacting to untoward events. Instead of pursuing smart cities, we should invest in rainwater harvesting and better drainage. So somebody has written opinion on this, right? So what we do, there is a disaster, there is a flood, and then we start reacting to it, right? So instead of building resilient cities which are already disaster proof, rather than we react. So instead of focusing on smart cities, there is a comment here. We should focus more on the basics, right? Then we go on to being smart or something. So somebody has given opinion in the Indian Express. So we give link to that also, right? Or Varun Gandhi has written article. And if you click on the, so some people would have written answers. Fine. So you have to read the article, what is given there, right, and note down certain points related to the question. The second part of the question may not be there in the article. So it is trying to purely elicit your own opinion, right? So the objective way of writing answer to that question is combining both. We definitely need smart cities as well. And how smart city, one of the components within smart city can be building climate resilient cities or infrastructure, something like that. So you should not just, because question is asking you, you know, we should not focus on smart city and only on rainwater harvesting and proper drainage. You should not write entire half answer only on that, right? So that is where objectivity comes into picture. Objectivity is considering both the sides of the arguments and accommodating them, right? So he was asking about, so where do we find? So this is the download section, right? So here you will find all your, for example, static Viz, like topic wise we will develop polity, geography, economy, right? So there are two links, one is only with question and another one is with question and answers. So those who just want to practice, so you can download this question, and as and when you are, for example, there may be few questions on SNT also, no, static I am not sure. So there are questions on environment, right? So when geography gets over, you download all the static questions, right? So and solve. There is another link with solutions. So it will have explanation, like full explanation. So there is going to be detailed explanation, right? So you have to take voluntary interest from your end. The sources are available. So when we were preparing, all these things didn't exist, right? There were no questions. I didn't know where to join test series, no test series, no question banks, right? So it was kind of insights, me, who started this so-called online revolution in UPSC preparation, right? So in 2013, I started this website. So before 2013, there were like 1 or 2 websites which were focused on all the examinations. So all small and big competitive exams, straightforward questions, no current affairs. So once we started, everything you see everywhere in internet nowadays, all quiz, current affair test series, mains answer rating. Mains answer rating was the original idea of mine. So I started daily answer rating challenge, and then we moved to secure, and then so many main test series, core batch. So that is why we have got very good result despite being in Bangalore, despite having small number of students. If you go to Delhi, some institutions have 20,000 students, 15,000 students, right? Still our ranks compared to our numbers are as a percentage or more, right? The reason is that, but still I am unhappy because majority of you don't make use of this. And if you can make use of all the facilities available here, right, you are in perfectly right place, and there are right people to guide you, there is right content available, right evaluation is available. It is just like up to you. You have to do that extra bit on a daily basis. If you are regular with this, in 1 attempt, maximum 2 attempt, you will crack this examination, right? And for that you have to trust. So nobody is going to be 100% perfect, but within what we have, we are the best. You have to totally trust and totally impose your faith in everything we do and everything we say, and do it regularly, right? Any doubts? Tumba ide. If I go on talking about, I can speak for 2 more hours, but for your batch, my suggestion is go only with the GS part, right? Because majority of you have come here without having done much regarding GS and humanities part. Maybe till your 10th, some of you, very few people in your humanities, in your graduation you would have done, but for majority, including current affairs and all this geography, polity, economy, environment, everything is new for you. To achieve depth of understanding, knowledge in these subjects, it takes lots of time. And when you suddenly bring optional in between, you will focus only on the class notes. You will come to class, note down everything, you will read it, and then you will go to optional class, you will do the same. So I don't think you will be able to achieve the required depth. And there is another extra thing I haven't told you yet, just not to scare you, that needs to be done from your part, right? That is pursuing your hobby or interest. Anybody who has 2 beautiful hobbies, one is reading fiction or non-fiction books. Reading books, you have it, very good. Reading and then writing. Anybody who has writing hobby, it can be a blog, you do blogging or journaling, good, very good. So anybody who has writing hobby, maybe on personal blog, in your personal diary, right? Diary. You have blog or diary? Anybody who has a blog here? Nobody. Where do you have a blog? WordPress. Very good. So my website used to be WordPress blog. So when I started preparing, I was very fond of technology, right? So though we didn't have so much money for everything, so I forced my father to take loan and buy a computer. And in my village, I was the first one to get internet connection from BSNL, and the speed was 14 kbps. I have heard about kbps. And then it increased to 44 kbps, right? And then something like 144 something. Mbps I didn't see. when I was preparing MBPS didn't exist, right. So only after 2010 I think we started seeing some kind of MBPS, right. So we could only open any text related content. So at that time I had because of Navodaya school education we had very good reading, we had developed reading hobby, interest. So we used to read lots of books with competition. Not everyone in classroom, there used to be 5-6 students, and I used to compete with I was from Kannada medium, so I used to compete with English medium students to read the books they were reading. They would read and I would take thrice the time they took to complete that book, and eventually started outnumbering them, reading more and more books. So when UPSC preparation happened, so I was in love with the UPSC preparation, doing research, so curious, knowing, trying to know everything. So I didn't know the boundary, the things I told you, the simple thing I didn't know. And in fact, we didn't have access to these previous year questions, question banks and all those things. Maybe they existed, but I didn't know where to get them, right. So what happened, so I was fond of writing essays. I scored one of the IAS scores in essay twice. I wrote 3 mains in 4 attempts. So I started a blog just to voice out my, it was a new thing, WordPress.com and Blogspot.com. There was 2. Blogspot was owned by Google. WordPress.com, it was a platform where you can freely open a blog. For example, Manisha, if your name is Manisha, manisha.wordpress.com, manishasthoughts.wordpress.com, right. So I had named my blog is win2win.wordpress.com, WIN numerical 2 VIN dot wordpress.com. Fun fact, if you type that URL, it actually redirects to insightsonindia.com. So when I bought insightsonindia.com, I had to redirect from, and I learned, I was a BSc genetics graduate, I was fun of learning all these internet related stuff, blog related. So I was doing on my own. So I used to write articles on everything. So at that time, internet was still not that deep and diverse the way it is right now. It has content on everything. So now that is why artificial intelligence is evolving so fast, because it has all the data set, every content available, right. AI was impossible in 2010 or before that, even if the technology existed. Data was not available on the internet, right. So I used to write, fond of writing, and when my attempts ended, this hobby of writing saved me, and that is the result. I started when my attempts were getting over, right. So I thought I should have an alternative career of maybe writing or something. So I was thinking that I am the best writer. No, I was not. I had this, you people will have developed that when you start writing answers and essays, you are writing the best. So I thought I will give insights on India to the world. So thought that I will blog about insights about India, everything. So opened insightsonindia.com. So because I was fond of writing, and suddenly 2013 mains pattern changed. So instead of 2 GS paper, they introduced 4 GS paper. Instead of 1 essay, they introduced 2 essays in essay paper, and it actually required people to write. Without you writing, you couldn't answer such kind of GS papers. So then I started this daily answer writing. So I would give one question, and it was the first in the entire UPSC. Nobody had done that. So after that, started giving more number of questions. And when I started offline batch in 2014, every day there used to be a test, only test, no classes. So and then continued, we got all India rank, and so many ranks at that time, right. So why I am telling is that writing and thinking individually are 2 fundamentals. In between, it got lost. Even in the UPSC exam with new pattern, between 2015 to 2019, I started noticing certain decline in the nature of questions. It was predictable, and suddenly after 2019, it is back to, not only back to its glory, but it is right now the way examination is conducted is actually right, except for the CSAT paper. CSAT in its intention it is right, but it is not a level playing field. But mains and prelims, I totally agree, because that is what should be tested, your ability to apply knowledge in an uncertain situation, right? So that is what you are going to do as an administrator. The world is dynamic. You never know what is going to happen next day in any place. It can be natural disaster, it can be some unrest, insurgency, civil war, cross-border terrorism, right? We don't know. Sudden outburst of something somewhere. So how you respond, right? So that is actually tested in all three stages of this examination. So don't be like in a herd mentality, don't do predictable things. So you have to be completely prepared for every aspect of the examination. That is why you need more time, right? So when you try to limit your sources, limit your learning, so that won't work. And another thing I am noticing is that whatever worked last year will not work next year for toppers also. More number of toppers are failing in their subsequent attempts. More number of people who had cleared prelims in previous attempt, they are also failing in next prelims or next mains, right? So the whole cycle every year is a new cycle. New knowledge enters, new talent enters the examination. People with fresh ideas, fresh approach to writing answers and essays, right? They bring their own style and set benchmark. So that year. So am I scaring you? So like what are you thinking right now when I am telling all these things? Are you listening? So what is going on in your mind when I am saying all these things? Are you trying to internalize or like ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾವೇನೋ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡು ಫೀಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ವಿ, ಅಪ್ಪ ಅಮ್ಮನ ಕಾಡಿಬೇಡಿ ಏನೋ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡು ಫೀಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇವ್ರು ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಟೆಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಯು is the truth, right? So for me it is very easy, you are in the best place. So we have best teachers, they will give you best content. Just read all their notes. You are going to pass this examination. End of the orientation, right? I mean that is very easy to say for anyone, and some people do it. So that is not the orientation. The orientation is orienting you to the reality, right? To the truth, right? So what is about to come, what you need to do actually. So to put it in a nutshell or in summary, you should have hunger for knowledge, right? And the more deeper it gets, better. But as I said, depth and its breadth you should know through those two sources, three sources: current affair, NCERT and previous year question papers. And every day 1 hour you dedicate to only previous year questions. 1 hour you have copy of both prelims and mains questions. See, she knew about Mark Webb telescope, may not be knowing about the concept, at least knows because of seeing the previous year question. So previous year question is source of both knowledge as well as trend also, right? Keep seeing them, syllabus copy, previous year question papers, right? Hard copy of the Hindu. These three sources in your bag constantly. Wherever you get time, keep reading, everybody has mobile. If you don't know anything, you can Google, right? And in the internet, our website. So my suggestion, follow only one website. See, if you start liking Insights on India, start following Insight. It has everything, prelims, mains, right? So many exercises, tools every day. And we have Instapedia, it is updated regularly. I have seen that Instapedia. So all GS papers it is there. So starting with how to study art and culture, the index, just to check the index, how exhaustive it is, I will tell you. So most of the topics are divided, and 90% of the work is done here. Like you have content with pictures and all. So in your free time you can go through that, but my suggestion, don't just rely on this as your one source, right? Because whatever everyone does, you should stay away from it. Only as a starter, as a reference, and then you have to build on this content. Okay. Idevanta. Any questions? ಯಾವ ಕಾಲೇಜ್? BVB. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಬೆಳಗಾಮ, ಹುಬ್ಳಿ. ಯಾರಿದ್ದಾರೆ BVB ಕಾಲೇಜ್? ಇನ್ನೂ ಇಬ್ಬರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ನೋಡಿ. ದಾವಣಗೆರೆಯಿಂದ ಯಾರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. ಯಾಕೆ ಈ ಬ್ಯಾಚಲ್ಲಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಬೇರೆ ಬ್ಯಾಚಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಆರಾಮಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮಪ್ಪ? ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ, ಕುಂದವಾಡದಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಯಲ್ ಎಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಶಿವಮೊಗ್ಗದಲ್ಲ? ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಎನಿ ಡೌಟ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್. ಚಾಕ್ಲೇಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ರಾ? ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಚಾಕ್ಲೇಟ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಎಂಡ್. ಫಾರ್ ಎವ್ರಿ OGP ಬಿಸ್ಕಿಟ್ ಹಾಕೋದು ಅಂತಾರಲ್ಲ ಹಿಂಗೆ. So what is asking, when I start reading NCERT, should I read all the topics? So my suggestion, always stay ahead. ಇವಾಗ ಆವಾಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ವೆಬ್ ಟೆಲಿಸ್ಕೋಪ್ ಅಂತಂದು, no need to stick to that only. So if your curiosity takes you into another topic, go there, read it. So NCERT, if they are teaching Indian polity, if you have completed all Indian polity NCERT, if you have time, read another NCERT of another topic, it's okay. So within NCERT they have given exercises, so try to discuss them. Maybe if you don't have to write answers, maybe we can have group discussion on those questions. Class 6 to 12th, especially class 10th, 11th, 12th, questions are good, end of each chapters, so try to discuss them. So most of the questions are applied in nature, they are not very straightforward questions. CSAT, good. Pradeep sir ಹೇಳಿಲ್ವಾ CSAT ಬಗ್ಗೆ? Okay, good. So what is CSAT? Civil services aptitude test. What is aptitude? Mental strength. Logical reasoning. Common sense. Maybe, right. So ಏನೋ ಡೈಲಾಗ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಆಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಆಪ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಅಂತೇನೋ ಅಂತ. So CSAT was introduced in 2011, right? So till 2011 we used to have two papers. One, there was optional in prelims also, right? Like chemistry, geography, physics, which are optional, you had to take. And then one general studies paper, within 100 questions there used to be 15-20 CSAT questions also. So combined score was the cutoff. your performance in both the papers. So in 2011 they introduced the CSAT. For I think 3 years, even the combined score of CSAT and paper 1 was the cutoff. Like people like Roman Saini scored 180 in CSAT. So in 2013 CSE exam, right, 50-60 was enough in paper 1. So UPSC started seeing nearly 80% of them who were writing mains were only engineers in CSAT paper. It was the case, right. So what was happening in CSAT, people were scoring 130, 140, 150, those who were good with the aptitude, mental ability, comprehension, right. And even though they were weak in the general studies paper 1, they were able to sail through. So then that was removed. It became only screening test, CSAT. 66.6 is the marks you have to score. So in the beginning it was easy, people were cracking it, but last 3 years, so we are noticing that even candidates from IITs, IIM, AIMS, any good college of engineering where you studied science and maths till 12th and then did maths even in graduation, right, even they have started failing in CSAT paper, right. It is not that they have less aptitude or they are less smart. The reason is that CSAT, when it became a screening test, just eligibility test, so people started giving very less importance to CSAT paper. The majority of the competition ignored CSAT. So for 3-4 years it continued, right. When UPSC started noticing that the kind of officers who were coming to Labasna were not able to do even some basic calculations in some cases, I am not generalizing, right. So there was kind of dip in quality of toppers, right. So maybe they figured out the source could be CSAT as well, right. The way, so what 66.6, somebody would do only English comprehension. If somebody was good in English comprehension, would score them. Somebody was good in basic mathematics, numeracy, so they would do those questions and clear it. But they wanted to change, so they started making these passages bit difficult, comprehension, right. So it became unpredictable in such a way that the questions became more lengthy, right. So this year they were lengthy as well as difficult, both comprehension and especially quant part. People have told that they match the questions of CAT examination nowadays. So there is a truth in that, but the bigger truth is that the ignorance, indifference. So you haven't given much weightage the way you give for optional, right, the way you give for any GS paper. That attention was not given to CSAT paper. So if you want to do really well in CSAT paper, give more attention to CSAT paper. Questions per se, all the questions, the way they grade is that anybody who has decent understanding should be able to get 30-35 questions right, combination of comprehension and maths. There are easy to less difficult questions, right, 30-35, enough to help you sail through CSAT. So but what is happening is, because people are not focused on taking CSAT. For example, as it happened in the session, I didn't discuss CSAT. The previous orientation we didn't discuss. It is somewhere wired here. It's good that you asked the question. So every day half an hour to 1 hour practice. So there are 3 steps to going with the CSAT. So we have excellent faculties, 2 faculties for CSAT. They will be taking classes. But 3 things. One, 2011 to 2023 CSAT papers, right. That is an exercise you have to do on your own. For all of those papers, solutions are available, videos are available, right. So voluntarily take up and start solving them. But before that, the number 1 step, my suggestion, class 4 to class 8 NCERT maths books, class 4 to class 8th or maybe class 7th NCERT maths books, right? So you go back again and solve them. Your CSAT teacher will also tell you, but my suggestion, before CSAT starts, if you do this exercise, CSAT will be easy for you in the classroom also, right? So basic mathematics is important. Don't assume that you have done all this, so-called difficult integration, calculus, this and that in your graduation and you are master of it. No. Please, everyone in the classroom, take CSAT seriously. It is always better to go back to basics. The stronger your basics, right, better will be the building blocks, right. The third aspect is, one is basic NCERT mathematics, second previous year questions, third one is so voluntarily taking up the questions from other examinations other than UPSC civil services. There are CSAT type questions in NDA examination, CDS, right. So all other non-civil service examinations of UPSC, okay. So that is one, and some exams like NABARD, RBI, even CAT examination, right, GMAT, slowly, not now, maybe after 4 or 5 months, once you have done these things, start doing those questions also. Develop your mental ability and aptitude to the level of solving CAT papers. So it serves two purposes, that you will have a backup plan also, right, in case. So some people deny this, you don't have to take seriously CSAT, develop to that ability, but my suggestion is, it's better to be prepared. And CSAT is not going to be easy, like every year it is going to get difficult only, because thinking in UPSC is very clear. Got it? So daily basis, half an hour or 1 hour, again now do it out of interest. These are like problems that you need to solve, you need to learn to solve. They are all interesting problems, learn. So all humanities people, if you do the first two exercises, the third one will be easy, and anyway there is going to be comprehensive CSAT classes for you. It is all integrated with OGP program. Any doubts? So, ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಂದ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? How many of you from proper Bangalore? Good. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ? ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರೇನಾ? Which college? NMKR. Good. Outside Karnataka ಯಾರಾದರೂ? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're from Andhra? Tamil Nadu. Good. You're from? Telangana. Where? Huh? Kerala. Very good. So before COVID, we used to have nearly half the class, from outside Karnataka. COVID discouraged people, but they go to Delhi. So I invite people from outside Karnataka to come to Bangalore. As he said, even in August it is cold here, right? So I don't know like why people in Delhi. So I went to Delhi yesterday. That so humid, so hot. Even in August and in September also is going to be like this. Especially when you are writing mains. Between June, July, August, September, you need very cool weather, a cool center, cool people, right, for your preparation. So YouTube ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರೋ ನೋಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ. Some people are watching on YouTube, no? For them I am telling. And the costly is there, pretty costly, but Bangalore is pretty, right? Pretty good city. ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ, like I don't, wherever I go I miss Bangalore, right? Davangere also. Yeah, sorry, I miss Davangere so much. ನಮ್ಮ ದಾವಣಗೆರೆ ಹುಟ್ಟು ಬೆಳೆದಿತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮೂರು. So I was born and brought up in Davangere. ಗೊತ್ತಾಗೋಯ್ತು ಅವನಿಗೆ. ರೈಟ್, ಸಮ್ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಡೂ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ಸ್. ನಾನು ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಿಧಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಎನಿ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್? ಓಕೆ. So for beginner secure, my suggestion is pick one static question, right? One current affair question where your interest lies. For example, if you are fond of economy, learning more about economy, pick up an economy question. It is out of interest you are doing, right? So I won't suggest you to do anything related to what is happening in the class. The secure should be an exercise to learn something extra every day. So you have to do little bit research, right? Even if you don't have concepts, you have to read that concept. So for example, the question may be something related to balance of payments, right? Why it is ballooning in India and something, what measure needs to be taken. You are not at all aware of that. Read. There is one website, Investopedia, right? Investopedia, like all economy questions, there are two, Arthpedia and Investopedia. See, so they will have this. What is balance of payments, right? So then they will summarize key takeaways. Okay. And there is, I think, video also. I think the video is also there if you want to learn. So there are related aspects, you know. What is current account, what is capital account. So it might take some half an hour or sometimes 1 hour to read a new concept and understand. So my suggestion is to do it, right? So eventually what happens, what you are learning out of your interest, what is happening in class, what you are learning from, you know, group discussion everywhere, all of them will start falling in place, right? So the connecting the dots. But this extra effort is very important, right? So this is always updated, okay, this is updated, and there is, you know, opinion based question, what is liberalizing, some facts related to, so maybe in prelims this might help, right, this kind of stuff. There is one more website, Arthpedia. I'm not sure if it is updated. It's like your Wikipedia, like recent concepts. So like government schemes, like just like random concept. See, they given links to RBI. So entire content is there. Got it? So for you, the resources are available. So earlier I was mentioning one institution, no? I think it was named as ITSA, IDSA. Manohar Parikar Institution for Defense Studies. So IR and security issues, this is really good. So there is a PDF. So May 26, 23, but this document will have everything related to Manipur crisis, the background, all the dimensions of the issue, right? So yeah, I mean you asked the secure. So as a beginner also you have to make notes out of it, and how to write secure answer we have written that, follow that. Okay.
Regarding newspapers, as you say, like we have to like jot out from the syllabus topic.
Hmm.
So say if like if you come across a topic like, for an example,
Hmm.
like if for an example I'm giving, if there's a news like Karnataka government wants to supply tap water for all the schools. If it's a proposal, should I give importance to that topic and make a note of it, or should I consider it as just a proposal and just go through it?
Just go through it, right? So that is not that important. I mean, important in its intention and other things, but you already have JJM, Jal Jeevan Mission, right? So read comprehensively about Jal Jeevan Mission. So that which intends to supply.
I'm asking like there are few topics like just proposals.
No.
Government is thinking.
Yeah.
Government
So
is
for that, what you need to do is that read the larger picture, bigger picture of that particular topic, rather than just going for the narrow one. For example, here the bigger picture is providing clean drinking water to schools or villages or something, right? So my suggestion is make notes on that topic. Got it?
So there's so much content to consuming
Hmm.
for all this. How do we retain it? Any method to retaining all this content?
I told you, solving, writing. So ultimately what you need to do, you have to make one notes for all the topic, and then you have to make concise note of it, but you have to keep using that knowledge again and again in some format. Prelims, mains, discussions, right? Writing essays, using that content in essay. So that is the only way forward. So that is, let's say the program is beautifully designed, weekly test, monthly test. So anything that you are gaining, you will keep applying it. You will retain it. But that is one big problem with the UPSC preparation. So you should not get carried away. For example, Manipur crisis, my suggestion, this document is your end. Beginning and end of Manipur crisis is this document alone, right? So no need to again dig all the Hindu articles, this and that. They themselves have listed so many articles here, right? Hindustan Times, Economic Times, India Today, right? Economic Times, The Wire, right? They have sourced it from so many articles and they have prepared a document. So for crisis, you just make notes out of it and stop. Anything, if there is a totally new agreement tomorrow between these two groups, or between government and state, that you can just add to your notes. So that way also you will retain. So what people do is that they keep continuously learning from different sources on the same topic. So when you know the primary source, right, so then that becomes the end source. Beginning and end happens there only in primary sources. So when you refer to secondary, tertiary, like our current affair compilation, for example, is a secondary source. So you will not get full knowledge of the topic in any current affair compilation. So that is why keep reading primary. The Hindu is your primary source, right? So earlier I was mentioning National Geographic. I'll just tell you. Show you. So this is a fact here, you can just read. The blue whale may no longer be the largest animal ever. So what does it mean? What? Another largest animal is, so what I haven't read it, what I'm thinking is that it will go extinct.
Extinct.
I don't know. Article might have, as he said, another largest animal, but there is a Meg. Have you seen the movie Meg? MEG. Megadolian. I mean, this is a hypothetical science fiction movie. From the bottom of the ocean emerges, dinosaur like shark creature that is the largest animal. For millions of years it is sleeping, and suddenly because of humans. We have to sign in. Fine. So when we were reading, it used to be free, everything. Now they make some articles premium and some free, right? So what you can do is that you can download the magazine from Telegram channels, right? And there is another magazine. Sorry, I am overloading you, but this Economist. So I believe this is the best source for any IR, and out of interest you read. This is, you can develop interest in reading selective articles from this Economist magazine. So why I am recommending this is because of the English, the way they write English, it definitely helps in essay, very standard, and the way you put your opinion strongly. So you can learn from this website. So, okay. Any other questions? We'll stop. One ನಿಮಿಷ ತಡೆಪಿ ಒಂದು ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. So he is saying that some editorials he understands, some he doesn't. So it is common for everyone. It takes time because, as I said, you haven't gone through such kind of topics before. So most of it is new. So take your time, slow down. So when you don't understand an editorial, it means you don't know the background of that particular issue, right? The history of that particular issue. So you may lack concepts related to that. So you have to Google, you have to learn. So now if it takes 1 hour extra, it's okay, but don't stop reading it because you are not understanding it, right? So some people may not understand because of lack of English knowledge also, right? So develop your vocabulary, right? So there is one book, Wordpower, made easy. So you buy this book. ₹97, 97 rupees. So 100 rupees will help you gain so much vocabulary, English vocabulary, right? My half of English knowledge improved only because of this book. So I did follow this for 30 days, this book. Every day like 2 hours. There are exercises in the book, right? So they will teach you, what is the, how every word has a root. By looking at the root, how you can know the meaning, even if you haven't heard that word, even if you are seeing that word for the first time, right? So this book, you buy it, you complete this book, even if it takes 3 months, 2 months, 4 months, right? Anybody who is lacking English vocabulary, is very important. In essay it is important, right? In comprehension, in CSAT it is very important. So you will develop very good English vocabulary. Look at the rating, 46,893, right? ಏನು ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಸ್ಕಿಂಗ್. ಹಾಂ 25 ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಂತಿರೋದಾ? ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್, ಗುಡ್ ಡಿಸಿಷನ್. ಸಿಡೌನ್. ಅಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು. Got your question, yes. So his question is giving in 25, so how to prepare, basically when to take answer writing seriously, how to integrate prelims cum mains. So as OGP it is already integrated, prelims cum mains integrated, the way they are teaching, the way we are giving you questions weekly and monthly basis, right? So that right now you focus totally on this particular thing, in addition to extra, try to be perfect with these. The answer writing, my suggestion is 2025, because till June you can complete entire UPSC syllabus through OGP, right? Be perfect with it. So this optional maybe you can join in the month of January, right? So January to June, by then you would have learnt, you would have gained the momentum also, you would have learnt some key subjects. So January to June optional, from July onwards only answer writing, right? So you have to take the pure integrated, application oriented, practice oriented route from July onwards next. So maybe core batch, mains test series, whatever it is, but it should be more of writing, and 2025 should be like ideally one and last attempt, right? So think like this, it's a 2-year project, 2 year of intense learning and then one execution. ಯಾವ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ? ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲ? No, I didn't get his question. ಓಕೆ ಮೇನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಆಪ್ಷನಲ್ಲಿಗೆ 5 to 6 days ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. GSE ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ ಒಂದು. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಡೇ ಎಸ್ಸೆ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್. ಓಕೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷು ಕನ್ನಡ ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್, ಅದು ಬೇರೆ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಡೇ ಎಸ್ಸೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 2 days you will have 4 GS papers. Morning 3 hours writing, Sridham, afternoon 3 hours writing. In a day you have to write 6 hours, right? So optional also. So for 4 days you will be writing 6 hours continuously, one day 3 hours. Mains reach ಆಗಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. So but anyway, you are going to write so many things here, and we have so many courses, test series, that won't be a problem. So okay, wish you all the best. ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಒಳ್ಳೇದಾಗಲಿ. ಬೇಕಾ ಈಗ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So we have crash course for everything, answer writing, essay writing, ethics, GS, bridge courses. So don't worry, Insights is truly your one-stop destination for everything. So trust Insights, get IAS. So there is another IAS. Those who don't get actual IAS, those who don't get actual Indian Administrative Service, doors are open for another IAS. Insights Administrative Service. So some people end up doing job in Insights IAS. So I keep giving opportunities those who are associated, those who are talented. So so again, don't make it a life's mission pursuing IAS. It's just one of the career options. So ambitious career options. Try your best, and at the same time keep writing all the exams. Keep giving every exam, right? It can be ST exam, FD exam. You don't have to join sub inspector, PDO examination, KAS, APPSC, whatever it is. every exam will add some experience, right? So if you go on to crack one of those exams, it will add to confidence also. Okay. So all the best. Thank you.